This is Digital Dust. Projects that I shot but never finished. For whatever reason, I just never got around to editing it. I shelved it. Maybe it was on an SD card that I had to format or whatever. Threw it on a hard drive. Totally forgot that it was there. I've got a few projects. Let's take a look at what I've found and put together something that you guys might enjoy. Check this one out. So what I have here is a low resolution Citizen. It's a black and white camera. It's a JSS 1006. This is probably, I'm going to say it goes back to probably about 1990, 93 maybe? 93, 94, somewhere in there. So it's pretty old. I don't have the monitor for it. The monitor is long gone. I got a few of these things. A buddy of mine used them in his office. He was a jeweler, and he's of course replaced all his cameras over the years. But at one point he used these cameras. I think he had 4 of them. It came with a monitor that it didn't display all 4 of them on the screen at once. It was like a switcher, and it would just sequence between one and the other. Anyway, this is an old CCD camera. Let's take a look at and see how this thing was built. It's got a speaker in it so you can talk back to the camera if you want. Right, okay, just disconnect the camera board, disconnect the microphone. This is actually the interface for the speaker and stuff. Don't need that. I'm interested in the business end here. Here's our camera, and as you can see, it's actually on 2 boards. This is a really old CCD design, and they hadn't shrunk everything down to 1 chip or 2 chips. This still had a series of discrete chips on here. So if I connect this thing up to power, I can probably make this thing put out a picture. Let's try it and see how bad it looks. I should be able to use this little power supply that I built. I don't know whether this uses 6 volts or 12 volts. It's probably 12, but anyway, I should be able to make this thing work regardless, because I think we can figure out what wires do what. Yellow is going to be video, blue will be the ground, and red will be the positive, I'm pretty sure. So let's just strip some wires here. That looks like Peter's screwdriver. I'm sure Peter is long dead now. I'll get my monitor turned on. So I'll connect up the yellow for my video, green for my ground, and then I'll just connect my power leads up here and see whether I get a picture on the monitor. Now the voltage might not be high enough, so I'll just bring the voltage up a bit here. And I don't see anything. Maybe this camera doesn't work. Either that or this power supply doesn't have enough power, because these old cameras probably took a little more current than modern ones. Well, it appears it draws a little bit more current, so I put it on a 2 amp power supply now, and we'll see whether we get anything out of this thing. It's possible that this camera doesn't work. Very possible that it doesn't work. I've now got it on a full 2 amp supply, and I don't see anything happening. See if it's loading down this power supply. It was loading my other one down quite a bit. So we'll just put the meter on here and see whether we've got power. Now I got 12 volts. I got 12 volts going into the camera, but I have no video coming out unless this jumper is no good. Okay, there it's working. It was just a bad jumper. My yellow alligator clip, I guess, has broken. So there it is. It actually has a picture, and it's a black and white picture. It's not a bad picture at all. Oops, what happened there? Connection on the the jumper there. So there it is. This thing actually works. Now what we'll do is we'll explore this thing and take a look at the actual guts that makes up this little piece of junk. So the main board comes out. Should be able to lift that off the front, and you can pull the sensor board out here. And to answer the question, this little power supply here has more than enough power to power it. It was just my jumper lead was no good. As you can see, it's running off of this supply now, but it's set down at like 9 volts. If I drop it down below, yeah, it cuts out at below about 8 volts. So 9 volts and up, it runs fine. Anyway, I'll just run it off my little bench supply because this one's current limited. If I short something out, nothing's going to blow up. Whereas that other switching power supply, if I short something out, something will likely go boom. This is the layout of this thing here. So we have our CCD chip here, and our timing chips over here. I mean, this is early CCD camera development. We have our reference crystal here, which is looks like about 19 megahertz. Yeah, 19.6928. Got a couple different chips on this thing. What are they here? One of them's a Sharp. It's an LZ95G41. I'm sure that's probably a timing chip. And a couple Sony chips on here. CDX 1250 and a little A1310AQ. These are obviously going to be for the CCD. And I wouldn't be surprised if this CCD imager was also a Sony imager. Let's just take the lens off it and just take a quick gander at this thing. Take a look at this chip. And there is the CCD. It looks like they had an option here for infrared LEDs as well, but they didn't exercise that option on this camera. This one here is just a basic low resolution, and it also looks like, if we look at the board here, that this particular board could have had a couple different chips. As you can see, there's headers for a different chip on here. But this was made long before they integrated everything onto one board. I mean, this is the black and white camera. If we look at I have a color one around here somewhere. Here's a color camera by comparison. Okay, here's a color camera. This is the black and white camera, and this color camera works. This is the one that came out of that clock. If I connect it up, I'm sure I'll have a great picture off of it. Let's try it out. Bad connection. As you can see, this color camera works great. And that's just this little color camera right here. Has a great picture on it. Standard definition, but it really works good. This is not one that'll go into night vision though. When it's dark, it always displays a color picture. And I got something planned for this. It's going to be a part of my security system. It's going to go in my workshop here, I think, probably. But anyway, this one's mine. Anyway, that's the color one. We'll just disconnect this. Go back to the black and white one. But you can see the difference in the size since this black and white one was around. That color camera is not that much newer. It was probably, I'm going to say it was probably I would say that one was probably late 90s, maybe 2000. That camera, it's It's relatively old too, I would think. That one's connected again, as you can see. The without a lens, you're not going to get an image, but put the lens back on it and it works. Black and white, right? So anyway, that's a quick look at a relatively early black and white security camera. You can see the big difference in just the number of components compared to this one here. This one's got a few chips on it too, stickers on there pretty good. But anyway, quite a difference. You know, a few years makes, going from maybe 93 to, I'm going to say this one was probably 2000, 2001, somewhere in there. I have another one somewhere around that was a little bit later than this. It's a color camera, but the board is about the same size as that with the lens right in the middle, and it would have been late. I'm going to say probably 98, 97, 98, somewhere in there. And then this one here might be early 2000s. This camera here came out, and of course they just kept getting smaller and smaller. I've got a few other ones kicking around here that I've collected over the years. Anyway, that's this little Citizen one. I didn't even know if this thing works, and well, now we know that it does work, and it doesn't produce a bad picture, and it'll work under infrared. This camera here will pick up under infrared light for sure.
That's it. Thanks for watching.